What on earth is going on?
Well, I think at the moment what we've got is a battle between Parliament on the one hand and the government over what happens next with Brexit. And we're currently at the stage where we're not really quite sure what will happen because Parliament's in a way trying to wrest control of the process from the government, and the government's doing all it can to get its negotiated deal that it spent the last 2 years negotiating through Parliament. So they're trying to keep the deal alive, Parliament's trying to kill the deal.
And in the middle of all this, the Speaker throws the cat amongst the pigeons. What do you think would be the likely impact of that?
The old rule for the Speaker is that he's meant to decide the winner, not create the winner. And that's a bit of an issue in that some people now think whatever decisions he makes inevitably decide the winner of this sort of battle between Parliament and government. It's going to be an open question whether or not the sort of control he's trying to exert on the process will be possible to sort of maintain over the next few weeks and months.
Isn't part of the, not part of the problem, perhaps nearly all of the problem, that Parliament wants to wrest control, but Parliament can't decide, can't agree on what it wants to do?
Yeah, ultimately you have, people campaigning for a Norway-style Brexit, a second referendum, sort of Canada deal. Nothing's got a clear majority in the House of Commons, and nothing could certainly sustain a majority in the House of Commons over the next 2 years. So May's deal, while it looks pretty unpopular, it's because it's in a sort of popularity contest of one at the moment. Once we see how popular these other sort of types of Brexit are, they won't necessarily be any more or less popular than the May's deal.
Last week MPs voted to rule out no deal, but they can't, can they? Because it's still law.
Yeah, and I mean, what ultimately they've done is they've ruled out no deal until the next sort of cliff edge, if you like, the next time that Article 50 looks like it's ending. That'll be, again, the no deal. No deal can never be removed from the table. It ultimately sort of is the table. It's the constitutional status quo, unless we can either get a deal or revoke the whole thing.
How big a factor do you think Brexit fatigue is from the public, if not from the politicians and journalists and academics?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what a lot of the people that support May's deal are sort of banking on, is that ultimately
they just wear everybody down.
Yeah, we don't want to keep going through this process of more and more votes in Parliament, more and more debate, more and more negotiation. Let's just get on with it. The problem is that this is only stage one, regardless of whatever happens in the next few weeks and months. This is only going to be stage one of the process. The trade talks with the European Union are going to be incredibly complicated. There's going to be huge tensions over the withdrawal agreement bill, which would put this meaningful vote into law. So it's just never going to be... the idea that it'll end if we pass the deal in a couple of days, couple of weeks, it doesn't make sense.
That's a cheery prospect. I'll put you on the spot then. How likely is a new referendum?
I'd probably give it a 3 or 4 out of 10.
And a general election?
I think a general election, some sort of event, some sort of electoral event has got to be increasingly likely now.